Chapter 17, Secret Power. The Black Chaos Ruins. The ruins in the Dark Forest, once home to the Dark Magician, are said to hide powerful magic. Yugi sends most of his army to attack the capital, but takes a small group in to search the ruins for this magic. There have been many treasure hunters that have searched the Black Chaos Ruins for the secret treasures of the Lost Magic Kingdom, but none have ever lived to tell about it. Will Yugi be able to find this power that's been lost for so long and make it back to his friends? Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit and in the green after the chaotic battle of magicians. We are moving on to the Black Chaos Ruins. Taya, I think, deserves a better go. I need to work out what the best team options are. We might be fighting some spellcasters. Keep Esperoba on hand. Tristan, Shimon. Fizdus can have a little bit of a break, and we'll take Mako along, because I don't want to be relying on Mai too much. We do have quite a few good monsters to actually take care of things. There. We have a few good monsters we can get in these ruins, and some good items. That's the most important thing. We've got a pretty solid and diverse team that should cover most options. We will be able to get going. We did get a new Dark Magician. And I got some more Book of Secret Arts. Whoops. Now, our new Dark Magician comes in on Yugi's team. Ah, good. Finally got Knight Adept. So we'll give you Book of Secret Arts. Deal of Phantom and Red Medicine. So we'll go with the Spellcaster team for Yugi. Somebody who's struggling a bit. Bakura's kind of had a hard time of it. So I'll replace that with the Illusory Gentleman. Give Bakura a little bit extra power along the way. Might come in handy. Taya does need a bit of oomph. Fizdus still hasn't leveled up. Mako's team is still doing alright. We'll see how everything goes along the way, though. Let's actually put a red medicine on Kairyushin while we're at it. So we got a little extra healing. Let's get ready to raid these ruins and find what we're looking for. So, we have to free Miyaluno, and if Kotogu falls to the enemy, that's it. What have we got coming? We have no enemies coming at us, which is a bit strange. But we wind up fighting Shadi. We just have to beat all of them. So, let's send... Who's where? Alright, so let's send Taya out to that team in the north. Taya, if Taya heads to Miyaluno, we will be able to get something fairly useful, hopefully. So our enemies will not approach us, which means we need our trader to see what we can buy here. Legendary sword. That's useless. What are our other teams? So that's another Darklands team. And then Sengen Jin and Battle Ox. Let's send Mako down here. I probably only need 4 units because I'll be sending Yugi in to fight the boss. Still haven't learned their special attacks. Bit of a pain, but I'll gradually introduce the units as we go. There will be a lot of that to do. So I probably will have to stay fairly quiet. But while we will get lots of really good units, we will also wind up getting some good items out of this. So it's a bit of a balancing act here. There is a great power attempting to come into this world. It is time for me to face my final task. You have no idea how tempting it is to think of him as Borat. But we do have to liberate... Wait, this is the boss fight! Crap! Book it! That's right, that's the boss fight. That's dumb. Okay, time to move around and find some things. Let's get to introducing the monsters. That's dumb. Beta the Magnet Warrior made its international debut as a promo with Duelists of the Roses, before properly appearing in Retro Pack 2. In Japan, it debuted as a promo for Dark Duel Stories, then made an appearance with Yugi's Structure Deck. It's popped up in a few sets featuring his monsters. Beta has the best attack of the 3 original Magnet Warriors, but the lowest defense. Even then, its stats are not great, but in all fairness, they're not too bad either. We've seen a lot worse in this game alone. The Magnet Warriors are mostly known for their ability to combine into Valkyrion the Magna Warrior, and the combos which result from that. They've picked up a decent set of support cards over time, such as the Electromagnet Warriors, and Delta and Epsilon the Magnet Warrior, which helps their combo out a bit and can even let them combine into newer forms. Notably, the 3 share the same flavor text, which makes sense but is also lazy. Okay, now, proper battle. Whoops. There we go, that's the right music. That was unbelievably dumb of me. Why can't I read? Okay, so these monsters have very high HP. Moderate power, but Sengenjin really doesn't have good attack points. I mean, action points. So we will eventually get to taking that down. We'll just chip away at the Battle Oxes. And Sengenjin will just sort of be there. I mean, even if we don't wear them down in one go, we should be right. Gotta admit, those weapons would be really cumbersome. Be a bit awkward carrying them around. But Sengenjin is, as you can see, fairly well armed. Judging by its musculature, it's also fairly well legged too, haha. Ow! That probably should have been a critical, which I would have deserved for the crappy puns. But with fairly intelligent strategy, we will win this battle. It's going to be a little tougher going the first time you go through various stories, but over time you will wind up getting there. We're pretty much setting up for one of the tougher fights in Kaiba's story, for example. We will get there in due course. So yeah, the majority of these, interestingly enough, well, there are lots and lots of normal monsters in this. To try to get back to what I was saying last time, it really doesn't always matter if you've got fairly handy effect monsters. They may not always have the greatest attack and defense, but their effects can make up for it. If you've been using just normal monsters, then you don't want to use pretty much anything else. There's a whole lot of stuff that is, by definition, worse. And that explains why there are some of those junk normal monsters out there. The ones that I absolutely love using, because the sheer confusion of actually encountering them is something spectacular. Let's keep waiting. What happens if I attack Sengenjin? I presume after a while, monsters that have run out of AP will actually stop guarding. Like that one. So we'll concentrate all our fire on Sengenjin. And there we are. Like, I suppose it's just sort of demonstrations of how much things have changed, how far everything's come, and all the rapid summons you can make. Like back in the old days, the ability to summon a bunch of monsters in one turn was kind of a joke. You could maybe do 2 if you had like a fusion summon. That Battle Ox is hell-bent on guarding. It's wasted its time. Maybe it's actually fearing for its life. We almost had enough oomph, but we'll claim this battle next time and get back to our introducing all the monsters. It's a pity Kairyu Shin isn't that good, and dragons are... Fantastic ending. It's a pity that dragons aren't very good in this game, basically. Because they don't get any specific power-ups outside of certain items. There almost isn't much point using them, unless you're going for fusions and things. Let's just speed this up. Dragon Piper made its international debut in Metal Raiders, reappearing in Dark Beginning 2. In Japan it debuted in Volume 6 and appeared a bit more often. Now Dragon Piper does at least have decent defense, which probably makes up for the fact it is designed to counter one specific card. I don't know if anyone really played Dragon Capture Jar back in the old days, so this really was a case of crippling over specialization. At least compared to traps like Call of the Grave, I think that was a trap anyway, and Anti-Raigeki, this had pretty decent defense, so it could shrug off an attack. Interestingly, this monster has a normal counterpart which hasn't seen an international release, called Pot the Trick, which is probably notable because the flutes wielded by these two monsters kind of looks like a certain paraphernalia for quote-unquote recreational herbs. I sense a disturbance in your heart. Doubt will bring ruin upon you. So there we are, next battle in. And once again, it's a team of Panics monsters. So, the giant floating castle gets to move first, because that totally makes sense. And once again, they don't like flame swordsmen. Rightio, but that was... Alright, they really don't like flame swordsmen. So our actual threat is King of Yami Makai. We will eventually get to see the monsters that do have those weird attack and defense values. Quite a few of them do actually show up in the game. Let's see. Barring the ones that, well, obviously hadn't appeared at this point in time. Alright. Because we've got Castle of Dark Illusions, Reaper of the Cards, Dark Chimera, King of Yami Makai. So those four appear. And there's Barox, which I know we haven't encountered. We don't encounter because its fusion materials aren't in the game, and well, it isn't in the game because Mavalus is in the game, but its fusion materials aren't. Oh, I've gone blank on the other ones. I've really just gone blank on the other ones and it's bugging me. Well, there we go. Reaper of the Cards is down. And Flame Swordsman gets nailed by a Kamehameha. It is definitely a Kamehameha, and I'm not hearing anything otherwise. And there we are. We will slowly wear this one down. Yes, what is it with people guarding in this battle? Like in the last fight, when I was speeding things up while Mako was fighting, Battle Ox decided it would attack, then it got another turn straight afterwards, only to guard. What is it doing? Alright, I don't... We'll wait for a little bit. Flame Swordsman. There we are, and it's... guard is now broken, but I don't think we've got the oomph to break through unless we get a critical. So there'll be like, I don't know. But even then it might wind up with like 10 health left or something like that. You know, the more I see this, even if the models are a little bit blocky and you don't really have that flow in them, I'm still really impressed by the lighting effects in this game and how it works so well. Like, it's not necessarily the most fantastic game in existence, but seriously, those graphic effects are amazing. Pretty good for the GameCube, given you've got all these unique 3D models that just work so well. And there's such good lighting in everything. And as I said, the way the shadows work, that's incredibly precise. Like, this is a really, really well-designed game as far as I'm concerned. May not be a world beater, but it's still good to me. Let's get back to the profiles. Labyrinth Tank made its international debut in Metal Raiders, reappearing in Legendary Collection Joey's World. In Japan, it debuted in Volume 7. While Labyrinth Tank is a little impractical in the card game, as all early fusion monsters were, it does at least look really awesome and can be useful if played well. I'm not sure how a mechanical wolf and whatever cannon soldier was wind up making this thing, but okay, whatever works. In this game though, look out. In the enemy's hands, it tends to be a fierce opponent with decent speed and really good stats all round. It's an essential target due to its exceptional capabilities on the battlefield. Now that we've got it, put it to work, build up that martial compatibility, and you won't be disappointed. This will be amazing. Especially since it gets Castle Adept, which makes it great for defending or attacking bases. I must test the power of the one that attempts to break the seal, and my voice has changed several times throughout this. Why? I don't know. It just happens. The guy who's doing this isn't very good. Also, I get to cheat, as you will see, because I get to use Cosmo Queen like a normal monster, even though it's meant to be a fusion monster. This happens a lot. So, as we can now see, Cosmo Queen actually has the status effect that allows her to heal. Status card, she is immune to status effects. Super stamina, she will automatically restore life points during battle. However, well, crap. It is interesting to note that certain status effects that I believe if you use status effect healing items, that will still be healed off. Which is a bit weird. Now, also worth noting, there are certain barriers that can be conveyed by specific items. However, I generally don't use those, so I'm at a bit of a loss when it comes to working out precisely what they are. We'll get to that eventually, assuming they stop beating up Dark Magician Girl. Seriously, stop being so catty! Alright, they're going after Dark Magician. You know, they really, really should be able to get out of the way of that. It's just... why are there so many attacks that are just so incredibly slow moving? I probably should heal Dark Magician Girl in all fairness, because you never know when I'm about to wind up getting nailed with a critical or something like that. However, we generally can handle Cosmo Queen pretty well. It's just a pain in the butt. Just sort of proof that the AI gets to bend the rules a bit. We did get plenty of Dian Keto the Cure Master, and we found a Machine King. So from now on, we will be able to use that. We sadly do not get the rocket-powered fist, though. Which is kind of a bummer. Okay. We are running into tougher opponents, but admittedly I am also using a slightly weaker monster. But I suppose that doesn't really matter as long as you've got a decent number of action points. Should be able to finish them off now. let's finish this. And then I can have Arcana's Dark Magician heal my Dark Magician. I think by the time we get to level 40, they will have Dark Burning Magic, which is a very useful combination. Admittedly, these fights are probably a bit more arduous than anything else. If I'd brought Shimon, this would be over really easy, but I need Yugi's team to get some good levels. Because, after all, he is the main character, and we don't want any troublesome fights. We did kind of have to sacrifice our friends a little bit, which is disappointing. But once we get the special attack of Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl, we can rip through teams. Life will be a lot easier. Why does the line... I suppose it's the smart thing to do to guard if you're at a disadvantage. And they just miss. Well, see how much damage we can do to this one. You definitely need to make sure you're abusing the item system, and when do I get shock shells? I've got to get them at some point before I wind up doing Kaiba's campaign. It seems a bit ridiculous that I haven't found any yet. It's just weird. Alright, well, we certainly got the points in that fight. Again, let's speed this up. Machine King made its international debut as a Duelist League participation card in the US and a TCG Tour promo in Europe. In Japan, it debuted in Booster 5 and has appeared a bit more often. Machine King is the only one of its lineage, which was Machine King 3000 BC, Machine King Prototype, Machine King and Perfect Machine King, which counts towards its own attack buff, so it effectively has 2300 attack, up from 2200. Not great, but it was capable in the right deck if played well. Several cards mention their service to the Machine King, such as Robotic Knight and Cyber Soldier, which both appear in this game too. In this particular game, Machine King hits pretty hard and it can boost its allies' attack. It's just a shame that it doesn't get the rocket-powered fist. That would have really capped it off. Millennium Golem made its international debut and only appearance in Tournament Pack 7. In Japan, it debuted and made its only appearance in Booster 7. Not so lucky 7 for Millennium Golem, if I'm going to be honest. As for the actual card, Millennium Golem is very much a file and forget monster. A common card with less than stellar stats in a hard to get set would probably only appeal to the most obsessive collectors. In this game, it will turn out alright, as the majority of monsters do. It does have a pretty neat design with all that fancy brickwork, and I can't remember what the eye's called, but yeah, that's really it. In all fairness, I'm kind of struggling on this one. There is really not a lot to say about Millennium Golem. I mean, Giant Soldier of Stone is probably a bit better despite having 200 less defense, because it's a level 3. I'm adding filler. It's got nice art, but it's bland and uninteresting. Barox made its international debut and only appearance in Astral Pack 2. In Japan, it debuted and made its only appearance there in Volume 3. Now, Barox honestly sounds like it should be some sort of detergent with a really cheesy commercial associated with it instead of a Yu-Gi-Oh card, but there you go. Barox makes clothes as white as new. Just really flows well, doesn't it? Anyway, in the manga, Barox was a normal monster, but for some reason it became a fusion monster when released in the card game. Similar to Flame Swordsman, it's played as a normal monster but shown as a fusion monster in the anime. Its stats really are shoddy though, only made distinct by their odd values. Other than that particular aspect, there is really very little which stands out about Barox, but it does have a place in an odd club of 7 cards, along with the Panic's other main monsters, Sword Arm of Dragon, and one of the Utopia cards that I sort of forget about. Alright, now I think I've found absolutely everything. If you travel between Genonva here and Fiorente down here, you will find Labyrinth Tank, which is totally worth using. If you travel between Fiorente and Chatgoalua, you will find Dragon Piper. We've got Beta the Magnet Warrior as well. I think the last thing we need to get is Millennium Golem and the rewards for beating the boss. So now let's actually have Taya fight Shadi, because we haven't found anything else. So, sorry to keep you waiting. Let's kind of rush in and fight now. So yeah, you are going to want to get rid of those two zombies flanking Pumpkin. Status effects. Or they miss. One of them. Dragon zombie poisons. Armored zombie paralyzes. Yeah, see, Skull Shredder can now stop us from moving. When you get Armored Zombie, it can be devastating. So we'll start off with Screen Mist. And let's lay into Armored Zombie because Poison is fairly useless in this game. Paralysis is much more dangerous. Alright, so it's guarded. Pumpkin can poison us as well, but we apparently... yeah. So yeah, they whiffed on the first attack. We shouldn't have too much trouble laying into these enemies, though, because our attacks can't miss, whereas they'll be flailing around blindly. Literally blindly. So, missed again. Alright, Dragon Zombie is apparently the fastest thing on the field. Wait, it actually hit? Well... that is a thing. That is the thing that happened. They do have pretty good HP, and they don't need to worry about their crappy defense. I've got to finish it off. I've just got to finish it off because I know if I leave it, it's going to hit. So yeah, this is pretty close to a team I actually use on my main file. This is the team I use for Bones, who is not actually dead. He was kind of killed by Yami Bakura in the manga. But in this game, he gets to hang around. And on top of that, he can be deadly with zombie teams. Since he's actually used Armored Zombie, Pumpkin, and Dragon Zombie, I tend to give him those. And they are devastating. You can just shut them down. They'll get fairly high HP. And you'll do a lot of damage with them. There is no spellcaster team that can stand before them. Somebody wants to attack, Armored Zombie will shut them down, gradually chip away at them with poison, because status effects stack. Did I mention that? Status effects can stack. And that gets brutal. Use your status effects well and you will win a lot. So I'll probably target Pumpkin and just have Dancing Elf finish off Dragon Zombie so I'm not wasting my power, because there's no overkill. It was admittedly kind of gross seeing Pumpkin sort of shove its tentacles into creatures and power them up with for its various zombie boosting effects. It does power up zombies, and Pumpkin powers up with Castle of Dark Illusions on the field. It's weird. There's no real connection between them, but it's just one of those things that happens. And there we go. The battle is won. Even though I nearly bumbled in and buggered everything up. Well, decent experience out of that one. The team's getting a bit better. I can't remember if we have many more monsters to get. Bless of Moonlight? Millennium Golem? And the item we want, we've got Raigeki, we've got Riryoku, and the Blackluster Ritual, which I'm not going to use just yet. We will need another one though. We do need 2 overall, so we do have to complete Yugi's story 3 times. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Until next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.